All right, guys, Miss Wertz here, back reading Wonder. If you're following along in the book, we're reading pages 155 to 169. And if you're following along on the online version, we're reading pages 111 to 121. You'll also want to make sure you have your assignment out that looks like this. Part 4, Jack, and then this is the second page of the assignment. Okay, pages 156 to 185. So remember that right at the end of the last reading, Jack punches Julian in the face. And so you guys were supposed to make a prediction about what was going to happen next. So make sure you have answered the last question on the first page first before you continue this reading. And now we're going to be looking for number 1. What is Jack's punishment for punching Julian? We're going to start right on the top here. We're on this part, detention. Some things you just can't explain. You don't even try. You don't know where to start. All of your sentences would jumble up like a giant knot if you opened your mouth. Any words you used would just come out wrong. Jack, this is very, very serious, Mr. Tushman was saying. I was in his office sitting on a chair across from his desk and looking at the picture of a pumpkin on the wall behind him. Kids get expelled for this kind of thing, Jack. I know you're a good kid and I don't want that to happen. But you have to explain yourself. This is so not like you, Jack, said Mom. She had come from work as soon as they had called her. I could tell she was going back and forth between being really mad and really surprised. I thought you and Julian were friends, said Mr. Tushman. We're not friends, I said. My arms were crossed in front of me. But to punch someone in the mouth, Jack, said Mom, raising her voice. I mean, what were you thinking? She looked at Mr. Tushman. Honestly, he's never hit anyone before. He's just not like that. Julian's mouth was bleeding, Jack, said Mr. Tushman. You knocked out a tooth. Did you know that? It was just a baby tooth, I said. Jack, said Mom, shaking her head. That's what the nurse Molly said. You're missing the point, Mom yelled. I just want to know why, said Mr. Tushman, raising his shoulders. It'll just make everything worse, I sighed. Just tell me, Jack. I shrugged, but I didn't say anything. I just couldn't. If I told him that Julian had called August a freak, then he'd go talk to Julian about it. Then Julian would tell him how I had badmouthed August too, and everyone would find out about it. Jack, said Mom. I started to cry. I'm sorry. Mr. Tushman raised his eyebrows and nodded, but he didn't say anything. Instead, he kind of blew his hands like you do when you're cold. Jack, he said, I don't really know what to say here. I mean, you punched a kid. We have rules about that kind of thing, you know. Automatic expulsion. And you're not even trying to explain yourself. I was crying a lot by now, and the second Mom put her arms around me, I started to bawl. Let's, said Mr. Tushman, taking his glasses off to clean them. Let's do this, Jack. We're out for winter break as of next week anyway. How about you stay home for the rest of the week, and then after winter break, you'll come back and everything will be fresh and brand new. Clean slate, so to speak. Am I being suspended? I sniffled. Well, he said, shrugging. Technically, yes, but it's only for a couple of days. And I'll tell you what, while you're at home, you take the time to think about what's happened. And if you want to write a letter explaining what happened and a letter to Julian apologizing, then we won't even put any of this in your permanent record, okay? You go home and talk about it with your mom and dad, and maybe in the morning you'll figure it all out a bit more. Sounds like a good plan, Mr. Tushman, said Mom, nodding. Thank you. Everything is going to be okay, said Mr. Tushman, walking over to the door, which was closed. I know you're a nice kid, Jack, and I know that sometimes even nice kids do dumb things, right? He opened the door. Thank you for being so understanding, said Mom, shaking his hand at the door. No problem. He leaned over and told her something quietly that I couldn't hear. I know. Thank you, said Mom, nodding. So, kiddo, he said to me, putting his hands on my shoulders, think about what you've done, okay? And have a great holiday. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa. I wiped my nose with my sleeve and started walking out the door. Say thank you to Mr. Tushman, said Mom, tapping my shoulder. I stopped and turned around, but I couldn't look at him. Thank you, Mr. Tushman, I said. Bye, Jack, he answered. Then I walked to the door. So you should be able to answer number 1. What's Jack's punishment for punching Julian? What just happened, and what did the principal say his punishment was? Okay, once you got that down, start again. Here we go, number 2. What disturbed you about Melissa's email to Mr. Tushman? Disturbed kind of means what was weird about it or what bothered you about it. Okay, so what bothered you about Melissa's email to Mr. Tushman? So here we go. Season's greetings. Weirdly enough, when I got back home and Mom brought in the mail, there were holiday cards from both Julian's family and August's family. Julian's holiday card was a picture of Julian wearing a tie, looking like he was about to go to the opera or something. August's holiday card was of a cute old dog wearing reindeer antlers, a red nose, and red booties. There was a cartoon bubble above the dog's head that read, "Ho, ho, ho." On the inside of the card it read, "To the Will family, peace on earth. Love Nate, Isabel, Olivia, August, and Daisy." Cute card, huh? I said to Mom, who had hardly said a word to me all the way home. I think she was honestly just didn't know what to say. That must be their dog, I said. Do you want to tell me what's going on inside your head, Jack? She answered me seriously. I bet you they put that picture of their dog on the card every year, I said. She took the card from my hands and looked at the picture carefully. Then she raised her eyebrows and shoulders and gave me the card back. We're very lucky, Jack. There's so much we take for granted. I know, I said. I knew what she was talking about without her having to say it. I heard that Julian's mom actually photoshopped August's face out of the class picture when she got it. She gave a copy to a couple of the other moms. That's just awful, said Mom. People are they're not always so great. I know. Is that why you hit Julian? No. And then I told her why I punched Julian. And I told her that August was my ex-friend now. And I told her about Halloween. Letters, emails, Facebook, texts. December 18th. Dear Mr. Tushman, I am very, very sorry for punching Julian. It was very, very wrong for me to do that. I am writing a letter to him to tell him that too. If that's okay, I would rather not tell you why I did it. I would rather not tell you why I did what I did because it doesn't really make it right anyway. Also, I would rather not make Julian get in trouble for having said something he should not have said. Very sincerely, Jack Will. December 18th. Dear Julian, I am very, very, very sorry for hitting you. It was wrong of me. I hope you are okay. I hope your grown-up tooth grows in fast. Mine always do. Sincerely, Jack Will. December 26th. Dear Jack, thank you so much for the letter. One thing I've learned after being a middle school director for 20 years, there are almost always more than two sides to every story. Although I don't know the details, I have an inkling about what might have sparked a confrontation with Julian. While nothing justifies striking another student, ever, I also know good friends are sometimes worth defending. This has been a tough year for a lot of students, as the first year of middle school usually is. Keep up the good work and keep being the fine boy we all know you are. All the best, Lawrence Tushman, middle school director. Now, remember that you're supposed to be listening for number 2, and this is the email that you'll want to listen about. What disturbed you about Melissa's email to Mr. Tushman? So what kind of was off or made you feel a little funny? Okay. So this is from Melissa Albans, and the subject right here is Jack Will. Dear Mr. Tushman, I spoke with Amanda and John Will yesterday, and they expressed their regret at Jack's having punched our son Julian in the mouth. I am writing to let you know that my husband and I support your decision to allow Jack to return to Breacher Prep after a 2-day suspension. Although I think hitting a child would be valid grounds for expulsion in other schools. I agree, such extreme measures aren't warranted here. We have known the Will family since our boys were in kindergarten and are confident that every measure will be taken to ensure this doesn't happen again. To that end, I wonder if Jack's unexpectedly violent behavior might have been a result of too much pressure being placed on his young shoulders. I am speaking specifically of the new child with special needs, who both Jack and Julian were asked to befriend. In retrospect, and having now seen the child in question at various school functions and in the class pictures, I think it might have been too much to ask of our children to be able to process all of that. Certainly, when Julian mentioned he was having a hard time befriending the boy, we told him he was off the hook in that regard. We think the transition to middle school is hard enough without having to place greater burdens or hardships on these young, impressionable minds. I should also mention that, as a member of the school board, I was a little disturbed that more consideration was not given during the child's application process to the fact that Beecher Prep is not an inclusion school. There are many parents, myself included, who question the decision to let this child into our school at all. At the very least, I am somewhat troubled that this child was not held to the same stringent application standards, i.e., an interview, that the rest of the incoming middle schoolers' students were. Best, Melissa Perper Albans. So you need to answer that question. What was weird about it? What is she trying to say? Okay? Now this is from Mr. Tushman, back to Miss Melissa, Julian's mom. Thanks for your email outlining your concerns. Were I not convinced that Jack Will is extremely sorry for his actions, and were I not confident that he would not repeat those actions, rest assured that I would not be allowing him back to Beecher Prep. As for your other concern regarding our new student, August, please note that he does not have special needs. He is neither disabled, handicapped, nor developmentally delayed in any way. So there is no reason to assume anyone would take issue with his admittance to Beecher Prep, whether it is an inclusion school or not. In terms of the application process, the admissions director and I both felt it would be within our right to hold the interview off-site at August's home for reasons that are obvious. We felt that this slight break in protocol was warranted, but in no way prejudicial in one way or another to the application review. August is an extremely good student and has secured the friendship of some truly exceptional young people, including Jack Will. At the beginning of the school year, when I enlisted certain children to be a welcoming committee to August, I did so in a way of easing his transition into a school environment. I did not think asking these children to be especially kind to a new student would place any extra burdens or hardships on them. In fact, I thought it would teach them a thing or two about empathy, friendship, and loyalty. As it turns out, Jack Will didn't need to learn any of these virtues. He already had them in abundance. Thank you again for being in touch. Sincerely, Lawrence Tushman. This is an email to Miss Melissa, Julian's mom, from Jack Will's parents. Hi, Melissa. Thank you for being so understanding about this incident with Jack. He is, as you know, extremely sorry for his actions. I hope you accept our offer to pay Julian's dental bills. We are very touched by your concern regarding Jack's friendship with August. Please know that we have asked Jack if he felt any undue pressure about any of this, and the answer was a result no. He enjoys Augustus' company and feels he has made a good friend. Hope you have a happy new year. John and Amanda Will. Hi, August. Jack Lope Will wants to be friends with you on Facebook. To Augie. Subject, sorry, with all these exclamation points. The message is, hey, August, it's me, Jack Will. I noticed I'm not on your friends list anymore. Hope you friend me again, because I'm really sorry. I just wanted to say that. Sorry. I know why you're mad at me now. I'm sorry I didn't mean the stuff I said. I was so stupid. I hope you can forgive me. Hope we can be friends again. Jack. One new text message from August. Got your message. You know why I'm mad at you now? Question marks. Did Summer tell you? Question marks. One new message from Jack Will. She told me bleeding scream as hint, but didn't get it at first. Then I remembered seeing bleeding scream in homeroom on Halloween. Didn't know it was you. Thought you were coming as Bobo Fett. One new message from August. I changed my mind at the last minute. Did you really punch Julian? One new message from Jack Will. Yeah, I punched him. Knocked out a tooth in the back. A baby tooth. One new message from August. Why'd you punch him? Question marks. One new message from Jack Will. I don't know. One message from Honest. Liar. I bet he said something about me, right? Okay, guys, sorry for the interruption. So let's go back to August says, liar. I bet he said something about me, right? One new message from Jack Will. He's a jerk, but I was a jerk too. Really, really, really sorry for what I said, dude. Okay? Can we be friends again? Message from August. Okay. Message from Jack Will. Awesome. Message from August. But tell me the truth, okay? Would you really want to kill yourself if you were me? Message from Jack Will. No, I swear on my life. But dude, I would want to kill myself if I were Julian. Smiley face. Laugh out loud. Yes, dude, we're friends again. Number 3. Choose one of the text messages between the boys to correct on the line below. For example, the word awesome. They spelt it wrong. Just choose one thing. You can't choose awesome since we already did that one. Okay? Now we're on to number 4. What happened to Jack after winter break? Back from winter break. Despite what Tushman said, there was no clean slate when I went back to school in January. In fact, things were totally weird from the second I got to my locker in the morning. I'm next to Amos, who's always been a pretty straight up kid, and I was like, yo, what's up? And he basically just nodded a half hello and closed his locker door and left. I was like, okay, that was bizarre. And then I said, hey, what's up? To Henry, who didn't even bother half smiling, but just looked away. Okay, so something's up. Dissed by 2 people in less than 5 minutes. Not that anyone's counting. I thought I'd try one more time with Tristan, and boom, same thing. He actually looked nervous, like he was afraid of talking to me. I've got a form of the plague now, is what I thought. This is Julian's payback. And that's pretty much how it went all morning. Nobody talked to me. Not true. The girls were totally normal with me, And August talked to me, of course. And actually, I have to say, both Maxes said hello, which made me feel kind of bad for never ever hanging out with them in the 5 years I've been in their class. I hoped lunch would be better, but it wasn't. I sat down at my usual table with Luca and Isaiah. I guess I thought since they weren't in the super popular group, but were kind of middle of the road jock kids, that I'd be safe with them. But they barely nodded when I said hello. Then, when our table was called, they got their lunches and never came back. I saw them find a table way over at the other end of the cafeteria. They weren't at Julian's table, but they were near him, like on the fringe of popularity. So anyway, I'd been ditched. I knew table switching was something that happened in 5th grade, but I never thought it would happen to me. It felt really awful being at the table by myself. I felt like everyone was watching me. It also made me feel like I had no friends. I decided to skip lunch and go read in the library. So that's all we're reading for today. So you should be able to answer number 4. What happened to Jack after winter break? So make sure you have every answer 1, 2, 3, and 4 done for this reading. And I'll see you guys next time.